Okay, it looks like we are officially recording. We are here live. It is Sunday, April 7th, 8 o'clock in the evening Central Time. Happy total solar eclipse eve, if you want to call it that. And happy oncoming new moon. We're in the balsamic moon, the darkest of the moon, and tomorrow we will peak with the new moon in Aries and also a total solar eclipse, which is super exciting, and we're going to talk all about that tonight. So welcome into our moon circle and get ready for the wild ride to come in this lunar cycle. There is a lot of energy at hand as the car races by. So I have the window cracked just a little bit for smudging, and then I will probably shut that if the noise continues after the smudge. But it's okay. We are in a little bit of an interesting energy tonight, and I want to set you up for success so you know how to navigate this total solar eclipse, this oncoming lunar cycle ruled by Aries, especially with the energy being a little bit different than normal. So for the sake of the recording on this may be your first time tuning in to a virtual moon circle. If this is your first time, welcome. We will talk about the new moon tonight. We will talk about the new moon being in Aries. We will talk about a total solar eclipse and what that means. We will touch base on Mercury retrograde because it is happening right now, and also Mercury rules the Vedic astrology of this moon. We will talk about the Vedic astrology of this moon, the elements that you can work with right now. I have a tarot reading to talk about tonight, so it's always good to get some extra guidance from the cards or other forms of divination. We'll go over that and anything else that comes along the way. So I welcome you into this circle. I invite you to get comfortable, maybe have something to write with, maybe have something to keep record with of any insights, aha moments, maybe also have something to drink. I've just got some water here to keep my throat nice and nourished during our transmission. And otherwise make yourself cozy. I'm here at home. I've got my sweats on. I'm sitting here in my office, and I am excited to transmit to you all about the moon. Now, I want to start with just a little bit of house cleaning because this actual transmission happening live right now, of course, if you're here, 13 Moons membership. So this is my astrological membership that I started a couple of months ago, and this is where I am now going live for every new moon and full moon circle. Because so in the past couple of months, I was given an amazing opportunity, a magical opportunity to come onto a very well-known international online campus to teach mysticism and yoga. And with that, I have had to make some adjustments in my schedule. Now, as much as I said that I have been doing moon circles for free for years and years, and I want to continue to do this, and I think I've even kind of toggled back and forth the past couple of moon transmissions talking about this, decided for me that I simply have to prioritize where I am going to do these circles. So you still get the recording if you are on YouTube, if you're following me on my website or social media or listening on the podcast, all good. You are going to get the recording. But if you want to tune into me live, you have two options. Option number one is to join the virtual campus because yes, I am doing moon circles there as well. Now, I am not doing a full moon circle there this month just because I have my yoga retreats coming up here starting next week, actually. So I'm not able to go live this, but I will be doing a moon circle in the 13 Moons membership for that full moon coming up. So if you want to be a part of these full moon circles moving forward, you're either going to have to join me on my virtual campus or in the 13 Moons membership. And you can go to vinalene.com. You can join that membership. There's a monthly membership, a day trial. There's a month membership with a little bit of a discount, and then a yearly membership with more. Plenty of opportunities for you to tune in there. If you don't know what 13 moons is, don't worry. I'm going to work on getting a whole understand more. But essentially, it is a place where you can come in and learn about all of the astrology happening right now or this month or what's going on and how to navigate that. So I give you just generic information on the astrology. I give you maybe magical modern day practices that you can do, intuitive journaling prompts. I give you information about each of the seasons, the wheel of the year, so each of the high holidays. I'm going to start sharing Vedic astrology starting next month. There's just a lot of information in there that you can get all at once. And maybe you're also somebody that wants to know more about your natal chart. So you can go in there and through the pieces of information I provide, you can pretty much piece together what your natal chart means. And of course, there's all kinds of bonuses and things growing in there. There's going to be an online community coming very, very soon. Lots of excitement once this Mercury moves direct. So make sure you check it out if you can. I know I have not mentioned my virtual campus. That is not a mistake. Our virtual campus is making some changes, and therefore I am waiting to tell you more about that. So be patient. By the time I transmit again for the new moon in Taurus, I will be able to tell you more about the virtual campus and how you can join there. So that's just a little bit of what's going on with me right now. I wish that I had time to still do these live on Instagram or social media in general, but right now I just simply don't have that time. So I'm prioritizing my members in my membership. I'm prioritizing my students on campus, and you can always get the replays here, of course, once I put them up after the fact. So I'll be putting up the recording tonight or tomorrow. My goal is to get it up before the eclipse tomorrow, which is peaking around, like 1 to 3 o'clock, right? Like I think I officially heard it starts on the East Coast at 11:21 Pacific time, if I'm correct. And then it ends at like 4 something or 3 something on the East Coast Eastern time. So trying to get it done in the morning time that you'll get that recording, and of course your e-newsletter if you're signed up with my e-news as well. So, okay. Now that that's done, just telling you about that. And that's kind of where I've been, by the way. If you're like, where has she been on social media? Or like, what is going on with these moon circles? That's what's going on. I got this opportunity. I've been teaching on this campus. I have totally shifted my workflow and my just plans with my professional life right now. And yeah, that's why I'm a little bit absent in other places. But exciting things, magical things to come. I can't wait to tell you all about it. Let's start with deep breaths. I had to take a deep breath there just to get it ready. In fact, I think I'm going to clear my throat for just a moment. Okay. Let's talk about this moon. But before we do, let's slow down. We need to slow down right now. It is the theme of the energy at hand. So take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Maybe settle in your body, sink down, shake it out, ground in. If you don't have your posture, find it now. Another very refreshing breath in through the nose. Really get that prana in there, and then out through the mouth, maybe with some sound. Just getting those vocal cords vibrated, that throat chakra opened up. And if you'd like to join me, maybe you can reach your arms overhead. Take a nice deep stretch, deep breath in. Let it all go. Shake it all out. Welcome into this transmission. Let's start with bringing in our 5 elements. And this is always something that I do right away, some extra energy into our circle. Of course, you don't have to have these elements, but if you do, great. Maybe you can go get your hands on them tomorrow or in the next few days, or to work with under this lunar cycle. You have a lot of time, actually. New moons are an initiation for the next 28 to 29-ish days. So plenty of time to work with these elements. But even if you don't have them, you're still getting the energy here, right? Through the ether. And this is why I use this space so strongly, by the way. This is why I prioritize this space for my moon circles. This is where I like to connect and grow my community. The ether is a magical space. It is really the fifth element and even beyond. It moves beyond the dimensions of space and time. So everything I'm bringing into this circle tonight, you are receiving the energy of it as well, which is really, really cool. I always like to start with the earth element, so I'm going to start with a few crystal suggestions tonight. First off, you might want to work with either citrine, which I'm wearing around my neck here. That's the yellow stone here. So your citrines, or maybe your sunstone. So sunstone and citrine are both related to solar energy and solar plexus, and right now we are very focused on the sun with this total solar eclipse. So why not bring in crystal energy as well to match up with your internal sun, your internal solar energy? So these might be great ones to amplify right now. Now it's also a time of fire. Right? We are in the moon of Aries. The sun and the moon are in Aries energy. And that is the energy of our core. It's kind of the cosmic warrior of the zodiac. And that energy comes from the core. The warrior fights from their core. They fight for their core truths and beliefs. This is the warrior's very present in the moment, which is core focused energy. So anytime you want to enhance your third energy center, your Mani Pura, your internal sun, your internal solar energy, or your internal warrior even, you can work with these two crystals. Now, you also might want to work with lapis right now. Lapis lazuli, lapis lazuli, lapis lazuli. I don't know, however people want to talk about it. A lot of people just say lapis, but lapis is a great stone to help with your throat chakra. Mercury's in retrograde right now. Mercury will be in retrograde until the end of the month. It goes direct on April 25th. However, we have a post-retrograde shadow that lasts about a week or so. So really, it's not going to be in May that we really feel good with our throat, our respiratory system, our sinuses, our ability to speak and communicate and express. So if you need a little help right now because of Mercury, you might want to bring in lapis. I lapis on me. It's usually on some sort of crystal jewelry that I wear. There's a little lapis because I post Mercury retrograde shadow. And because of that, I tend to have some throat chakra stuff, nose, throat stuff. I've always had sinus and allergy. I want to be careful about my words. I just in the past have had that. And then also my words come out a little muffled, muddled sometimes. It's hard for me to put my channelings and my thoughts into words a lot of times because channeling moves through very, very quickly to get it all out. So I usually have a lot of lapis on me. You'll also notice up close and personal here. Oh, that's good. Yeah. You can see those little dark flecks in there. And here's the other side. That is actually pyrite. Like, see that little sparkly right there on the end, right there. And then in there, those dark spots. That's pyrite. Actually have pyrite on its own. This is another great crystal or stone to be working with right now. This is otherwise known as fool's gold, but don't be fooled. It does have actual real gold in it. I read this very recently. Science has shown now that pyrite, fool's gold, actually has little bits of gold in it. So pyrite is good right now because it does remind you of the wealth inside. Maybe the wealth inside of the silence, right? If Mercury is retrograde, maybe we're a little quieter right now. Maybe we let our throat chakra rest. And with that, we find wisdom, internal dialogue, insights, aha moments, messages from our guides, our guardians, messages from source. But we have to be open to it. Now, also on the eastern side of the world, this moon is in Revati Nakshatra, and that is the moon of, or star of nourishment, the star of riches, the star of wealth, the nourishing star. And so we are reminded of our wealth right now. We're reminded of all of the wealth that we have collected over the past, and we're reminded of the wealth that we have moving forward, perhaps the wealth in the pause as well. Because this is my 13 Moons membership, I am bringing in one of my beautiful personal pieces for you to get some extra energy tonight. In the theme of this eclipse, we got a little black, we got a little white, we got a little pyrite, and all of that is going to shine out to you, and you can see how reflective it is there. So we're just going to send that out. And I also suggest working with some of these stones right now, especially when you're in a little bit of the mystery, the unknown, the sacred pause, right? It is a good time for you to work with a reminder of sight. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. I just want to adjust this video really quick. Sorry, and then I had a message pop up at the same time as well. All right, so Lisa, I just wanted to make sure that it looks like your camera's off right now, which is, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to pop in some weird way. It always changes my screen when people pop in, so it looks like on your end. But welcome, Lisa. How's it going? Let me know in the chat if you want. I'm just talking about the crystals that we might want to use right now. Finally, well, not finally, selenite is another great one that you might want to work with. I've got my midnight egg here, but you might want to work with selenite because this is a great stone to try you. And remember that, you might not want to be out underneath the light of the moon right now, or the light of the sun, right? You might want to be more down during this eclipse. So if you need some extra energy, selenite can help charge you. Also, crystal quartz is a master crystal. This is a generator right here, so I'm just going to send that out to you. The crystal quartz absorbs the negativity, absorbs fear, absorbs any sort of irrationalities. I've seen a lot of stuff floating around this eclipse on the internet right now. A lot of premonitions and a lot of assumptions, a lot of expectations. And I'll just be honest, I don't think it's going to be like crazy. I think it's a great opportunity for research, but there is a lot of fear around this eclipse, as there always is because of our primitive programming. So if you're feeling some uncertainties right now, if you're feeling restless, anxious, negative, whatever, maybe use some crystal quartz, okay? And you can have that around you. You can have that in your pocket. You can just keep it in your spaces. Wherever you need to amplify your energy, I would suggest working with that as well. All right, I just got to check one thing here. So my screen is just tiny. So I want to make sure it's not tiny elsewhere. And a car goes by. Okay, so we are good with our crystals. Let's move on to another earthly element. We have some white sage here. I would suggest smudging right now during this new moon. This is a time of new beginnings, and also eclipses give us a little bit of opportunity to reset. So I am going to go ahead and light this smudging stick on fire, combining it with our second element, fire, and then bringing in the third element, which is wind or smoke. Now, we always want to pay attention to the smoke, how it's burning, where it's going. I did say I have the window cracked, but I'm going to go around in a clockwise fashion just to cleanse my energy here. And I'm going to go for 3 times just for good measure. Same thing to you and the technology that we're using. It's interesting because I just smudged earlier and I didn't have, but I have more smoke coming out now. Now it is going not to you, not to me. It's just kind of going up and out to the window. So it looks like we just needed to purify the air a little bit. which I'm not surprised by. We might need just a little extra purification. No big deal. So I'm going to let that continue to burn. It doesn't have a lot of smoke going out, but we're just going to let that continue to do its thing and talk about our fourth element, water. Now, I already mentioned that you might want to have some water on you, and you also could be using the power of oils. Now, really quick, actually, I'm going to bring in one more earthly element, this eagle feather, which symbolizes transformation. Since we have some extra smoke, I'm just going to waft that. And then just for fun, give you a little waft. A little waft. Technology, a little waft. Power of the eagle everywhere. So bring in some extra air energy. So it's already burned out. It's not even smoking anymore. We didn't need a whole bunch of cleansing. I'm not surprised. Okay. I've also noticed, by the way, since I started doing these transmissions more here or in private settings and not so much just on social media or on Instagram or wherever, when I smudge, there's a lot less smoke that comes out, which means that the energy has shifted by being here in this different space, which is kind of cool. So anyway, drink a lot of water right now. Just purify yourself, cleanse yourself, detox yourself, get ready for everything to come, and perhaps use some oils. So I like to use essential oils because they actually blend all of the elements. You have the earthly elements of the plants, you have the steam distillation that uses fire, and then you collect it in liquid form, which is water. When you smell these oils, it goes into the air. And then also you can go to the ether and beyond. You're working with frequency and energy and your senses and your mood, your mind, your limbic system, all this stuff that even moves beyond the spaces of time and measure. So maybe you're feeling a little anxious right now. Maybe you're feeling restless. Sometimes eclipses, especially eclipses, are like a full moon. If you're struggling with sleep or struggling to relax or just feeling heightened in any way, you might want to use lavender. I just want to smell a little bit of that to ease my energy so I can go crash out after this and relax. Lavender is a very strong, relaxing oil. It is one of the strongest muscle relaxing oils. It will help you to chill out. If you're like me and you're extra sensitive, then lavender might not be your go-to. You might want to use something different like a neroli, which is a little bit softer in the way that it harmonizes and calms your energy. You might want to use some grounding oils like cedarwood or sandalwood, but anything to calm your spirit right now, bring it back into that harmony. That can be really useful with this energy at hand. Now, also, eclipses are meant to ignite us and reawaken us and almost reset us or put us back on track. So maybe you need to wake up a little bit right now. If so, I would suggest a little wild orange and lemon. By the way, you could combine peppermint and lavender, and that's a nice way to stimulate your senses while also able to relax you. By the way, peppermint is also a relaxing oil as much as it is a stimulant. But maybe you just need to like wake yourself up, heighten your frequency. I have some lemon and some orange here, very basic oils. But these citrus oils of any type, they are going to work with your internal sun, your solar plexus, that third energy center. And that might give you a little bit of boost right now. It might also help you to stay in your core truths, be in that warrior spirit. Maybe it just helps to uplift your feet. If you're in some of that fear, uncertainty, any of that, it can help to bring you back into a state of elatedness or joy and bliss instead. Now, another citrus oil that could be useful right now is grapefruit. Grapefruit is an oil of detox. So it is a citrus oil. It can help to ignite your senses, but also can be great for detox, whether you're putting it diluted on your feet, putting a couple of drops in your water or in your bath. It will help you to let go energetically and physically. So if you just need to reset your systems right now, maybe your digestive systems, you might want to have some grapefruit in your life. Yeah, also if you want to just reset energetically and detox, you can use grapefruit as well. Now, the final element we already talked about. This is fifth element. It's the ether. It's this place where we connect. It is the space to call upon your guides, your guardians, your ancestors, your angels, anything that you need, really, that's beyond this earthly realm. Call on the magic. This is the space that we can work in as well tonight or with any new moon. So with that, I would like to open our circle officially by bringing in the guides and guardians. If you would like to join me in this invocation, you can find your posture sitting nice and tall. I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to exhale and drop in. And I'll start by welcoming in our guides and guardians of the East with their element of air. Bringing in that refreshing prana and the fresh breath of new beginnings. We trust in the air to help us stay present. We focus on one breath at a time and even the sacred pauses in between to help lengthen time. Know that the air is here to help ignite us, to help drive up our energy, and also to help us release what no longer serves. We thank the air for being here with the guides and guardians of the East in our circle tonight. And we also invite in the guides and guardians of the South with their element of fire, burning very strongly right now with this Aries total solar eclipse and season and new moon. We also have many other cosmic bodies in this fire sign. So we know it is time to make change. We know it is time to transmute and transform. And we set ourselves on fire to drive ourselves forward into the version of ourselves that we need to become. So burn away and no longer look back to what is holding us back to a level that we no longer need to be in. We thank the fire for this encouragement to move forward, and we welcome the guides and guardians of the South into our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the West with their element of water, flowing now in this energy of Pisces that lingers from the eastern perspective of the moon. We also have the waters of time reminding us to simply slow down and pause right now. With this eclipse moving in, we invite in whatever else wants to both rush in and flow away at the same time. We thank the water, guides and guardians of the West for being in our circle. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the North with their earth elements, the magical elements like the crystals and gemstones, the smudging materials, and anything else of this planet that helps to serve us. We invite in guidance of our ancestors. We invite in all of those that are waiting to come to this planet now to help us prepare. And anybody who has already been through this journey, we invite in their wisdom here now too. We thank the guides and guardians of the earth and the North for being in our circle. Finally, we invite in the fifth element, the ether, and the guides and guardians of the Akash, the source, consciousness, all that is beyond here. We welcome it in, the messages that we need to receive from it, and we trust in this energy as we thank the guides and guardians of the fifth element, the Akash, for being in our circle tonight. With that, our circle is open even more. Let me know, by the way, if you have any questions in the comments. Do you have any questions about this particular moon, this new moon in Aries season, the total solar eclipse, etc., etc.? If you can think about it, put it in the chat. I want to actually do things a little bit different tonight. in the spirit of it being a season and things coming back around or doing things differently, Mercury being in retrograde, I want to start with Vedic astrology. I'm not an expert in Vedic astrology. I never claimed to be. However, I have been studying it for about 7 years. And every new moon and full moon, I like to talk about that Eastern point of view of the stars because it's very similar to the Western side of things. And we might have some different insight there. Also, at the heart of it, I'm a yogi. I'm a yogi beyond being a yoga teacher, beyond practicing yoga. I am a yogi. I do embody that. And in the Vedic side of the world, Vedic astrology sees the cosmos as a constant yoga practice. And all of these planets and cosmic bodies, they're in yoga with different types of yoga. So it just makes sense to me to blend in that side of things as well as the Western perspective because yoga has always been blended with astrology. It's just the way that it is. So let's do things differently tonight. Let's start with Eastern point of view of this moon. From Vedic astrology's perspective, this particular moon is in Revati Nakshatra. Revati is Sanskrit for wealth or riches. So essentially, this is a star of wealth, the rich star, the nourishing star, and it resides in the constellation of Pisces. Now, although the moon is in Aries from the Western perspective, tropical zodiac, we are always one sign behind in Vedic astrology. So tonight, we are looking at a moon that is still in the constellation of Pisces. In fact, Revati Nakshatra is in the star called Zeta Piscium or Zeta Piscium, however you want to pronounce it. And this is a star that is ruled by Mercury. Now, problem being, Mercury's in retrograde right now. So all of the normal qualities of this star are very much still present, but maybe behind the scenes and hidden in the shadows a little bit. We have Mercury right now doing another different dance from the Vedic side of the world called the Gandanta. Vedic perspective of astrology puts things into little bits of like war, knots, and yogas, right? So right now, in between the energies of Pisces and Aries, from Vedic astrological perspective, sorry, I know I'm saying my words over and over, this means that it's in a Gandanta, and a Gandanta is a karmic knot. So this means that Mercury, the planet of communication, expression, commerce, travel, and trade, and technology, is in a karmic knot and also in retrograde. It's like a double whammy. So we need to be very careful of the themes around Mercury, around the way that we communicate and express ourselves, around maybe purchases that we make, partnerships that we make, any sort of trade or agreement that we make. We need to be mindful with our travel. And it's interesting because a lot of people in North America are traveling for this eclipse, right? So I don't know. Be patient. Some things can get a little tricky. Mercury is called the trickster, and their energy is coming into play right now, not only because it's a retrograde, but because this moon that is becoming eclipse is in Revati Nakshatra. Now remember, I said there's a little bit of gold, or a lot of gold, in the silence, in the reflections, in the slowing down and maybe logging off, or not making the purchase and resisting, or not jumping right into the partnership or agreement. There can be some lessons to learn, some insights to have, and some gold to gain out of that. Permission to slow down right now. Revati Nakshatra is the last of the 27 lunar mansions. So we are in the final lunar mansion of the nakshatras in Vedic astrology, which means we're at these endings and beginnings. We're at a portal of closing things and opening things, letting things go and inviting things in, surrendering and releasing, opening and receiving. You get it. We're in between that right now. So there is wealth to come. There is wealth behind us, and there's wealth that we can find in the sacred pause of the present. Now, this particular moon in Vedic astrology is also ruled by a deity known as Pushan. Pushan is the god of nourishment, or known as the nourisher. It's a god of meeting. He presides over marriages and roads and pathways and feeding of cattle, but he's also a psychopomp, which means that he guides lost souls back home. You may be in confusing times right now. Eclipses are very karmic. Sometimes they bring us to a crossroads where we have to make a decision to go one way or the other. This is also a time where you could feel like you're off path or off track, or maybe you don't even know how to get back there, or you don't even know where the path is or what it is or where to go. Ask for help from Source. Call on guides and guardians. Call on your ancestors and angels. Call on whatever it is to help guide you right now, because Pushan is here. Pushan is one of the 12 Adityas. There's an Aditya for each of the 12 months. These are sun gods. You can kind of see the similarities between like just the zodiac in general, right? But Pushan, he helps to bring these souls back home into the sun, the Atma, or what we would call embodying the Atman. And here on earth, he's also here right now to bring us back into our soul's truest essence, into our path, into our dharma, into our purpose. So don't be surprised with this eclipse. If you're feeling different on the other side of it, whether you got out underneath it or not, don't be surprised if you feel an energy to really start working towards the things that you are meant to work on, that you know that you are dharmically destined to, or maybe they're in your star chart or whatever it is, but you know there's something that you need to do, or a path you need to take, or a pursuit that you need to embody, and you're going to want to do more of that on the other side of this eclipse. Now, if you get out underneath the eclipse, it's considered very inauspicious. It's considered not necessarily a good thing to be out underneath an eclipse, because it resets your energy. Now, again, if you need the reset, by all means, go ahead. I personally, during the fall, I was born in 20, 21, 22, I can't remember now, degrees of Libra. I should know better. And essentially, I was 1 degree off of that total solar eclipse in Libra. I had a really challenging year last year. I needed the reset. So I got out underneath the solar eclipse during the fall. But since then, I have had a beautiful reset. I have great momentum and change. I've done a lot of hard work. And now I'm sticking to a place where I can be in, okay where I am. I don't need to cleanse. I don't need to purify. I don't need to detox. I don't need to reset. So I'm not going to be getting out underneath the eclipse. I'm not going to make eclipse water. I'm not going to set my tools out. In fact, I'm even going to draw the curtains closed during those few hours, because I do not want any of that energy coming in and giving me that reset. Now, if you happen to listen to the transmission after the fact and you got out under the eclipse, it was meant to be. It was supposed to be. But when it comes down to it, no matter where we are with this eclipse, whether we get out underneath it or not, the energy at hand is guiding us back home, helping to bring us back into our truths, helping us bring us back into our soul's purpose. And, with Pushan being this god of meetings or marriages or partnerships, I can see this really igniting the partnership within ourselves. Aries energy, if you go to the western side, which we're going to migrate to in just a moment, Aries energy is very selfish. It is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the child of the zodiac. They are going to throw tantrums. They are going to have to figure out how to sit and stand and walk and run and climb and do all the things. They are going to feel as if they need to test their boundaries. They're going to try to set boundaries of what is okay and what is not okay. They're going to fight for what they want, fight for their truth, fight for what they believe in. So all of these energies are going to come up right now, and we need to be a little selfish as we navigate that. I do think it's important to start going within and really working to marriage the masculine and the feminine. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel in general. It's okay to maybe go out and scream, but it's also okay to need a hug. It's okay to nurture ourselves. It's okay to also push and challenge ourselves. We need the yin and the yang. This total solar eclipse is the yin and the yang, the sun and the moon coming together. So permission to let your inner child out a little bit right now. Permission to let yourself be a little bit more raw and truthful and authentic, and let these internal sides of yourself, both sides, masculine and feminine, really start to shine through, so you have that harmony and that oneness. You're your whole self, your complete self, moving forward out of all of this cosmic chaos. Hopefully that makes sense. I want to check the chat just really quick because it doesn't show it to me right away. I don't see anything in the chat. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to grab a drink. We're going to move over to Western astrology. So I already mentioned that this eclipse is in Aries, right? Total solar eclipse in Aries. It's in 19 degrees of Aries. So if you are born within 5 degrees of that, if you were born anywhere from 14 degrees to 24 degrees of Aries, you're probably going to be impacted by this eclipse more than normal. You might even want to get out underneath it and reset your energy. I'm not saying get out and go look at it. I'm just saying get out and absorb the solar energy or the eclipse energy. Either way, whether you were born within 5 degrees of that 19 degrees Aries or not, you are going to feel a calling to come back to self and come back to home and come back to ground zero and maybe come back to new chapters, new beginnings. You might need to bring old things back up and reignite them. You might need to bring back old ideas and remold them or work with them in a different way. You're going to be coming back around to some things, but also you're going to have some opportunities to move forward. Being the first sign of the zodiac, Aries influencing this eclipse, we are going to have a lot of adventure, possibly. We are going to have a lot of spontaneity come out. We are going to have a lot of ambition to move forward. And we're going to have some impatience because things aren't going to happen really until May. We're not going to have a lot happen until Mercury goes direct, until we get out of this lunar cycle that's a little bit different from the usual Aries energy. By the way, on the Vedic side of the world, this is the Vedic New Year. This is the first new moon after Holi or spring. And so we are in an energy of new beginnings. Even on that side of the world, even though it's in the Pisces constellation in the last of the nakshatras, the 27th, we're still in an energy of moving forward into new beginnings, right? One flows into the other. If you were not born within 14 to 24 degrees of Aries, you can still look at 19 degrees of Aries in your birth chart, see what whole sound house aligns. That's going to give you an indicator of where you need to focus on making change, working towards your goals, maybe letting go of something and walking away. Any of these themes that might come out with this eclipse. So check out your birth chart, kind of see what's going on there as well. We also need to find balance, peace, harmony with our energetic exchanges, because Libra, the full moon 2 weeks ago, also had a lunar eclipse, part of this eclipse season, and that was what started to illuminate all of the things that were out of imbalance. So if there was anything that was out of imbalance, whether it be a relationship with somebody, whether it be your relationship with time, your day, food, your work, whatever it is, it was going to come to light over these past 2 weeks. And now, as we make these changes highlighted around 19 degrees of Aries, we are doing that in order to come back into more balance and more inner peace as well. That's important right now. We have the dichotomy of Libra and Aries energy coming into play. Libra started things 2 weeks ago, said, hey, take a look at all this stuff. See where you really want to give of yourself and give of your time and have given back to you as well. That's important. And now Aries is saying, okay, it's time to get a little selfish. It's time to set boundaries and forward and make change and what you want and start to build your fire, right? By the way, building fires can be good right now. You might want to build fires and burn away what doesn't serve. You might just want to work with fire energy, building your internal fires. You could do some Ujjayi pranayama or some skull shining breath. You could chant Ram. You could do anything with solar plexus or core energy. Lots of different ways to ignite the fire right now. If you draw the curtains tomorrow and it's dark in your house, then maybe light some candles up around your spaces just to bring in more fire. I have my notes over here. I keep looking at my notes just to make sure I'm not going to forget anything. I did write the phrase, get pissed off for greatness. That's kind of a Aries energy right now. We will have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, North Node, and Chiron all in Aries with this total solar eclipse. And Neptune is just on the verge and about to move into Aries as well. So we need to work with the fire that we have building. We can be easily triggered and challenged right now, and we will want to lash out as fire does. If we can hold ourselves back, that will be beneficial to us so we don't burn anybody or get burned. We don't have damage control to do on the other side. It's time to use all that fire, that drive, that ambition, that excitement to go forward into our future, excited about the wealth that we can create, the things that we can do, the person that we can become. Get pissed off for greatness and demand nothing short of it. Call yourself back home. If you are at your truest essence, you are at your holiest self. And if you're at your holiest self, you are connected to source. You are embodying source, whatever you want to call that. And if you are embodying source, then you are a magical being that creates whatever you want to create. You are greatness. You just have to get back to it. You just have to find it again. You just have to own it again and reclaim it. And that's what this whole eclipse is about, what this whole lunar cycle is working towards. It's time to embody the greatness that we truly are. Lessons along the way to find that out. You're probably going to learn something over the next 6 months to help find that greatness or discover it or rediscover it. We're going to probably be presented with karmic opportunities in the next few days or weeks or this lunar cycle. You can choose to learn the same lesson again, or you can choose to learn a different lesson. There's no right or wrong, but if you choose to go down the different path, the road that has not been traveled yet, the mysterious and the unknown, with excitement, adventure, and a positive mindset, you will receive so much more. You will level up onto multiple levels. You will move into a fast forward motion with your life, and you'll see yourself on the other side like, oh my gosh. And I feel like that's where I'm at personally. I feel like I made all this work happen during the total solar eclipse in Libra. And then or not total solar, but what, solar eclipse in Libra. And then 6 months later, I'm in this spot where I'm just like, I don't even know Like I'm in a magical space. I don't even know how I'm here, but I'm here. That's the kind of karmic work that can happen if you seize the opportunities that come your way right now. So it's an exciting time. Get excited for it and be a little curious like the child, right? Be strong like the warrior and power through the unknown, the uncertainties, and the battles that you're probably going to face more internally than anything. The self-doubt, the worry, the anxiousness, the fear. You know, long time ago, before we knew about eclipses and we knew what they were and we knew when they were coming, we probably rarely experience them in our life. In fact, it's rare to experience a total solar eclipse in your life and more than one. So you're just going about your life and all of a sudden the sun goes away and it's dark. And you don't know for how long. Sometimes these eclipses can last. This one's going to last about 4 minutes and 28 seconds, I believe, 3 to 4 minutes. But they've been known to last upwards of 7 minutes and more. So imagine that happening all of a sudden. You are going to freak out. There's even been history of a war that was going on. A total solar eclipse happened. The war completely stopped and a peace treaty was signed. People worry a little bit about end of times. We've heard a lot of this trailing around on the internet right now around eclipse seasons. So even though now we know what's coming, we know what's going on, we know what's going to happen, it makes us uncertain when we come towards an eclipse. We just feel a little anxious and we feel a little worried. So try to let that go. Try to embrace childlike innocence and wonder instead. Trust in the energy and just get ready for the other side to come. I hope this makes sense tonight. I do have a tarot reading that I would like to share, very relative. I'm just checking my notes here. I think I said everything that I need to say. Yeah, not a lot else there. There is a lot, but not a lot. Get back to your joy. Get back to your bliss. And that is our truest path, right? I heard a statement recently that said healing is not our purpose. We are actually meant to be on this planet for joy and bliss. Now, that's not to say that we're not here to also learn the school of hard knocks. But we also can't have joy without sadness. We can't have riches without poverty. So we have to have that dichotomy in order to truly get the bigger picture. So embrace everything that's going to come right now, the shadow and the light. It's transformative. Okay. I'm going to take a deep breath before I do this tarot reading. To shift the energy. Thank the cards for being here in our circle with all their messages that they have to offer. I asked for past, present, and future guidance. For the past, 8 of Swords in reverse. Now, normally when we have the 8 of Swords upright, it means that we're feeling very trapped, bound, constricted, stuck. But it's of our own doing. It's more psychological. It's in our mind than anything. So what do you think it means when we're reversed? We're the opposite of that. We're free. We're free. We can free our mind and we can free ourselves with our mind. We are not oppressed. We are not fearful. The world is not going to end. We're not going into an apocalypse. At least I don't think so. Free your mind of the fear. Free your mind of that primitive stuff, right? Notice the red square. It's very primitive thinking. And we have the swords pointing up out of it, growing up out of that primitive behavior and thinking. I do also believe that this is a card that reminds us that where there's a low, there's a high. Where there's sadness, there's joy. It's that opposite. It's the infinity sign of 8, the highs and the lows. So if you're going through challenging times right now, know we're in an eclipse season. Things are a little crazy. Mercury is retrograde, and eventually it's all going to come out okay. even in your own life circumstantially, if you're going through challenges, you're going through traumas, you're going through these shadow times, I promise you, you're going to come into the light eventually. And even later down the road, you'll look back and you'll see the gold in all of it. I've talked about a lot of this. It's about this alchemy of taking your trauma, taking the shadow, and bringing it into the gold and bringing it into the light. So being our past card, this Eight of Swords reversed says, hey, with this eclipse season that we were initiated into a few weeks ago, we were given an opportunity to free ourselves from our past ego victim self, our past programming, our past stories, our past shadows. We can now move into a more liberated life where we know that we are in control always. Free will. Now the next two cards are upright. For the present, I got Three of Cups, which is a very celebratory card. It's elated joy. It's the emotional cups stacked and growing, supporting one another. I do believe that this eclipse unites us a little bit. Everybody gathers, no matter what your political beliefs, no matter what the color of your skin, no matter who you love in life or who you are attracted to, no matter how you identify, doesn't matter. Everybody's coming together to check out the cosmos. And I think that's really cool. Because just for once, also, like astrology and the cosmos and checking out things in space isn't woo and weird. It's just normal and everybody's doing it. So this is exciting. We're uniting for the sake of something very cosmic, very stellar, very fun. And it's all about the sun, which symbolizes our joy, our internal solar plexus, third energy center, our blissful state. And we're given the opportunity now in the present to maintain that energy moving forward. Look at this card. It is green and pink. That's heart energy. We are being elated into the joys of our heart through spiritual and communal celebration. Very much the present card that we're in right now. Now also, always great when you pull an ace. I got the Ace of Swords for our future. And again, we have this theme of the red and the pink, moving out of old programming, moving into new opportunities. Ace is always about new chapter, new beginnings, walking away from the old, growing into the new, moving forward, fighting the battle towards victory, helping to make change. We also have it in the one, which is first sign of the zodiac, this total solar eclipse happening in Aries. Also in the future, we will have the first nakshatra coming in, right, on Vedic astrology. This is the Vedic New Year. So we have a whole new year ahead of us. These are exciting times. Now, when we have the swords, this is a reminder that we need to get a little selfish. We need to set boundaries. We need to set standards. We need to express our needs and wants and when to say yes or no. We need to make sure that we are absolutely cutting ties with something that may be holding us back from the growth. And we might need to battle into a little bit of our victory in the future. So there could be challenging times ahead, but it's all to push us to get back to where we need to be, standing in our sovereignty, deciding if we hold our sword up as a boundary or we draw a line in the sand and say no, or we swiftly bring that sword down and cut the tie. This is that warrior spirit of Aries and also a little bit of Kali, who comes in now with this eclipse to help fight the shadow and fight the demon. Embrace your inner warrior goddess, that masculine and feminine, the merging of the inner marriage, right? This is what the cards have to tell us right now. And I also love that they are all pink. They are all about the heart. And remember, that the full moon in Libra, which initiated us into this eclipse, Libra is the sign of the lovers, initiated us into our heart space, told us to view things from the heart, told us to be careful and be mindful and move things from the heart because of Mercury. Very cool cards. So that's what I have for you tonight, Moon Tribe members, 13 Moons members, and those on the recording as well. This is what I have for you. This is what the cards have to say. This is what I've had to say about the cosmos. This is the astrology at hand. You get to decide what to do with it. It's your choice. Eclipses are very powerful. They're very potent. There's a lot of opportunity here for you to do different. We're doing different tonight. We're not going to do any sort of practice. I'm not going to release the guides and guardians. I think we could use them with us for now until this next lunar cycle. But yeah, it's just a time to slow down and be present and be adrift and trust the journey most of all. Really trust the journey at hand. And maybe rest a little and prepare for the battles that are going to come. We're given a sacred pause right now to do just that. To relax, to rest, to pause, to slow down, to become more mindful. So that we're in our right mind and we're in our core truth and we're in our, best self and our truest essence of spirit as we move forward in about 3 to 4 weeks. So I do plan to meet again here in the 13 Moons membership around the full moon in Scorpio. That is on Tuesday the 23rd, although I am not sure when we will meet. I will probably meet with you on Moon Day, Monday, the 22nd, but I will keep you posted on that very briefly. Of course, the replay will be on social media, website, podcast, all that stuff. I'm going to check this chat one final time. Make sure we don't have any questions. We do not. Great. Okay. Let's take a deep breath together. Let it all go. Maybe really ground in. Until we meet again. L'ocaso mostasu kino babantu. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all feel safe. May we all know peace. May we all be loved, feel loved, love one another. And may our actions, our behaviors, our thinking, our programming, and our frequency promote the happiness, the health, the wealth, the wellness, the safety, the peace, and the love of all. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Blessed be. Until next time, namaste.